Okay, so we are continuing with our amazing series of The Art of Being Human. And for tonight's class, I would like to speak about a character trait that I think is very Hanukkah related, like we're still in the aura of the holiday of Hanukkah. I want to speak about the character trait of bravery and courage. Okay? Being a proud person, being a person who's not afraid, being a person who's holding by their values, being a person who's strong, being a person who doesn't allow things to get in their way, being a person that's really going to do whatever it takes to do the right thing. So this is something that we see in the story of Hanukkah, that the Chashmonaim, the sons of Matisyahu, so they saw that something was wrong. They saw that our Judaism is being compromised, our Judaism is under attack, and instead of being complacent, instead of saying, okay, well, it's not our fault, they said, no, this cannot happen, we need to stand up for our rights, we're going to stand up for our Judaism, we're going to stand up for our values, and they fought, even though they were at danger. And it was a person who's afraid, a person who doesn't have courage, so he would never have done such a thing. And they stood up even at risking their lives, even though that they were mamish endangering themselves, and some of them did die. One of the sons of Matisyahu actually died in the war, and they really put their lives on the line, and they didn't take the easy path of just being complacent. They stood with courage to stand up for their values. So this is the value that I want to speak about this evening, and this is a very clear value in Judaism of courage. It says in the Mishnah, that a person should be brazen like a tiger. And tigers apparently are very, very brazen. And the Ramah brings this in the beginning of Shulchan Aruch. This is halacha. This is a person who is a scaredy cat. So he is going against the Shulchan Aruch. If he's Ashkenazi, okay. I was thinking to myself that, Sephardim, you don't have to tell a Sephardi to be strong. He's like, it's in there. He'll be offended if you remind him that he needs to be strong. But the Ramah had to say for the Ashkenazim that Havi Az Kanamer, and the Ramah says V'lo Yisbayesh Min Amaligim, that if you're doing the right thing and somebody's trying to make fun of you, and somebody's trying to mock you, and somebody's trying to get you to stop, so you say yeah, you laugh at yourself. This is my thing, and you're going to deal with it. And this is and this is to be a person with azus, to be a person with inner strength, with courage. So this is absolutely a Jewish value, and it became somewhat more famous through Breslov. That Rebbe Nachman from Breslov, so he coined the phrase azut dikdusha, that he called this holy brazenness. And when he said holy brazenness, so what he meant was that there's another Mishnah in Pirkei Avos that says as panim legehenim, that a brazen faced person, so he's going to go straight to hell. So what he means is that please stop. So he said that the Mishnah says that havi az kanam, that as panim legehenim, a person with a brazenness is going to go to hell. So there's a bad brazenness, and that's when you're just talking back, when you're just obnoxious, but there's also a holy brazenness. Now that is that person that's, even if somebody's trying to stop you, so you don't care and you stand up for your values. That is a holy brazenness, as is the kedusha. The Rebbe Nachman Mamish put on the pedestal. So this is what we're talking about tonight, and I want to start with a statement from Breslov also, and that is that I think there's a misconception about what courage means as a value, and that is the courage means not to have fear. Now, why do I say that this is a misconception? Because there's a famous statement from Rebbe Nachman that it says, okay? And that's usually translated that the most important thing is to have no fear at all. And so that would imply that it's not a good thing to have fear. It's not a good thing to have things that get me concerned, that when somebody's telling me that you might die, there's somebody that's there's terrorists outside Chas v'Shalom, there's that you might, this is not a smart thing to do, so you say I have no fear, I'll do it, even though that's not called being brave. That's not called being courageous. That's called being stupid. That's called being impulsive. That's called being reckless. There's nothing nice about that. There's nothing valuable. There's nothing admirable about being reckless, about being irresponsible. That's not what courage is. What courage is not to have no fear. It's to overcome your fears. It's to not allow your fears to hold you back. It's to hold by your values and to do the right thing, despite the fact that your fears would want you to stop. Okay, and so there's different kinds of fears. There's a certain fear of danger. Sometimes a person is afraid he's going to be hurt physically, emotionally, and there's a fear of just discomfort. There's a fear of the discomfort, that it's like leaving my comfort zone is a certain fear. People have fear of the unknown, and there's a certain like a fear of discomfort, and there's fear of resistance. There's fear that like people are going to try to stop me, and people aren't going to be happy with me, and so to overcome these fears. So that's what it means. Courage. That's what it means. Azus. That means that the fact that I have courage, the fact that I'm able to stand up for what I believe and do the right thing. So this is the courage and the bravery that the Torah requires from us, and this is an obligation. And the truth is we're usually we're talking about meaningful things, but the truth is that it's any time that there's something that you're supposed to do, and you're allowing your fears to not allow you to do what you're supposed to do, that's against the Torah. That's mamish. Like my kids sometimes they'll call me up, and they'll say, Abba, ata babayit? Abba, you're home? And I said, yeah. So my daughter says that I'm outside and there's a cat on the steps. So could you please come outside and shoo away the cat? and if they ever have to shoo away the cat, you should see how they're pull things up. It's like they're terrified. They're terrified of this little cat. And in my opinion, to be in America we call this a scaredy cat. To be a person who's who has fears of everything, it's against the Torah, because there's something that right now that you're supposed to be doing, right? You're supposed to, in her case, she's supposed to be going home. She's supposed to be going up the steps, and she's not doing the right thing. There's the right thing here. That what Hashem wants me to do right now is to walk up the steps, and I'm not walking up the steps because of my fears of this little cat. So that's against this Havi Az Kanamer. Havi Az Kanamer means that whatever the right thing is to do, it's a stupid example because it's not the biggest mitzvah to go home. It's not like nobody will say it's Navera to ask your father to shoo away the cat, but Tachlis, you have something that you're supposed to be doing right now to allow your fears to hold you back from doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that's going against what the Mishnah says, Havi Az Kanamer. So where is this relevant? Where is this relevant in avoda, in our lives? So there's lots of situations that this is going to be relevant. Sometimes, so it's courage is to speak when it's easier to be quiet. Okay? Sometimes courage is to stick around when it's easier to run away. Sometimes courage is to leave when it's easier to stay. Sometimes I shouldn't be here. This is not a good situation. I really would be better off if I would just leave and not be part of this. And sometimes the courage is to get up and leave. Now, there's two kinds of courage. There's inner courage. There's courage against myself, and there's courage against outside forces. And I want to speak more tonight about the courage against outside forces, which is the real, the Maccabees, someone is trying to stop you, someone is trying to kill you, and you're being strong against them. But I will note that there is also a certain courage within yourself, okay, and that is that sometimes that a person has a certain fear of facing different elements of themselves. A person has a fear of opening up a can of worms. A person has something that they know that it's been irking at them, that they know that there's a certain trauma, a certain a character trait that they're scared to deal with, and they've just been like I was telling I said on Shabbos that in one of the things that the Lubavitcher Rebbe noticed when he came to America was they have wall-to-wall carpeting, and so he thought it was interesting. Like he never saw such a thing in Europe, like wall-to-wall carpeting. So he was like wondering what's the pshat, and then he said at one point that that he realized that in America, so anything that is pasnish, anything that doesn't work with anything that doesn't look good, so they put it under the carpet. So there's a lot of stuff. There's so much. Americans have so much stuff that's pasnish that you have to push it. They have to push it, put it under the carpet. So they need wall-to-wall carpeting to get for all of the stuff that's not appropriate. Nobody needs to know about. That's the stuff that they're ignoring. The stuff that they're suppressing. The stuff that they're not willing to deal with. Yes, this is who my child is. There used to be a feeling of a person would be embarrassed if they had a Down syndrome kid. They would be embarrassed from the Down syndrome kid. It was we've come a long way, but there's such things that everybody has to be perfect. Everybody has to be according to all the rules, and if somebody doesn't go the rules, no, that can't exist. So it's a certain degree of facing yourself and facing reality. So that takes a certain amount of courage. Sometimes there's a certain inner courage that a person has a certain challenge. A person has a certain mission, and they have to just do it, and they don't think they're ready, and they just got to do it. And that's just that courage. Just okay, I can do this. I'm no, I need to prepare myself. I need to build myself. I need to make myself into the person that maybe in 1,000 years I'll be. And no, just do it. Just you need. It takes courage to, even though you know you're not perfect. You know you're not perfect, and to face the fact that I'm going to do this, even though I'm not really ready. I'm going to make this presentation, even though I still have more research to do. I'm going to hand in my paper, even though I still have more editing to do. And somebody was asking me on we have a halacha chat called Ask Rabbi Kilstein, and so somebody asked me, is it okay to pour oil into the burning candles on Hanukkah, because I want them to burn longer. So I'll pour more oil in, so it'll never end. So I told her, that you have to, at some point, you have to just embrace the fact that, what I did is enough. I know it could be more. But it doesn't have to be more. What you did is okay. I'm just gonna just move on. And get ready for the next mitzvah. Get ready for the next mission. Yeah.
Just something kind of exact parallel to this. I was working in the kitchen, and I was making these franks and blanks for the first time. And I'm putting way too much time and effort into them, about 2 hours. It was insane. And at the end of it, the guy looks at me and he's like, David, it's franks and blanks. You can't mess up. You don't have to put that amount of time in it. It's just a sense of scale that I was missing.
Right.
When I'm focusing on the little details and the other things that I'm doing.
Right. So there's a certain, just it's enough. I'm good. I've got this. It's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. And there's a certain element of inner courage that's required to admit that you're wrong. You need to overcome your ego. Okay, that's not an easy one. That's also it's a certain courage to overcome to made a mistake, especially if you've been making mistakes for a very long time. So then it's even more complicated. To change a habit, when you know you've been doing something for a long time and you know that you need to change, but you don't really know how to function the new way. There's a certain courage in it's a fear of the unknown, I believe, to be able to say, okay, I'm going to try to change this. I'm going to try to let go of this habit that I've been doing, because I know it's a bad habit, and even though I don't know how I'm going to function without it, but that's a certain courage, and just not to give up. It's it takes a certain courage, takes a certain bravery. That when things are looking bleak, when things are looking logic would tell me that you're not going to make it, you're not going to it's not going to work, and you're trying and you're failing, and so there's a certain courage to say, no, I'm going to try again. To overcome my fear of failure is a courage as well. So these are all elements of of courage as well. And these are all certainly Jewish values. Like, I don't have to tell you, we've certainly spoken about not despairing, and certainly everything in Judaism is about change and about evolving. But once again, I want to speak tonight mostly about like the OG bravery and courage, which is when something external is coming against me, whether this is something endangering my life, whether this is endangering my comfort, or a very common thing is that a fear of losing friends or popularity. And like, I'm going to do something or not do something that if I do or don't do this, like I'm scared that people are going to cancel me. I'm scared that people aren't going to be they're not going to think I'm as cool as they used to think. They're not going to think I'm as similar to them as they used to think. And there's a certain courage of doing the right thing, even though it requires overcoming these things. So where do we find this as the Jewish value? So it's before Pirkei Avos, before this instruction of Haviyaz Kanamer. So it starts, I think, with Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu was a very courageous man, and it says Echadai Avram. The pasuk says that Avram was one person. Rebbe Nachman says in this, what do you mean Echadai Avram? That he didn't think about anybody else. He didn't think that I don't care. There's like the whole world can just jump in a lake. Like I don't need any popularity. It's just me and Hashem. It's just there is nothing else. And there's a famous midrash that Avram is called Avram HaIvri. What do you mean the Avram HaIvri? That hu be'ever echad v'kol ha'olam be'ever hasheni. He's on one side of the lake, and the entire world is on the other side of the lake. I'm standing alone. I'm standing alone. That there is nobody on my side, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't need friends. I don't need followers. I don't need subscribers. I don't need likes. I don't need anybody. I don't even need likes in the not social media. Everybody can hate me. Everybody can hate me. That's Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu. Everybody. They didn't just hate him. They thought that he was a horrible man. They thought that he was a heretic. And not only that, not only was he giving up his popularity, he was also giving up his life. Because when he stood for Hashem, so the mayor of the city was a nice man named Nimrod, and he said, "Okay, we're going to throw you in the furnace," and like he was absolutely risking his life for his values of believing in Hashem, and he was strong. He didn't. The easy way out would have certainly been to just like do like everybody else, or just like pretend that he's doing like everybody else, and he was very obnoxious about it. He was very in your face about it, and he went over to his father's store, and he took his baseball bat, and he broke all of the idols, and he was not apologetic about it. I have a student that coined the phrase Hila Oz. She coined the phrase. She's getting married in 2 weeks, very soon. That to be obnoxiously Jewish. They're like in your face, yeah. Like any time that you're if you're in like in the airport and you want to put on tefillin, and like you're like, yeah, I'm going to put on tefillin in the airport. Like, be jealous. Like, you know, I'm a son of Hashem. This is my crown. This is like I'm not embarrassed. I'm not apologetic. And like we're like this is where it's at. You guys, you goyim, you secular people, that you don't get it. You know, you don't get it. Like that. I'm the cool one here. You know, like learn from the best. And that's to be proud of ourselves. That was Avram Avinu. So now Moshe Rabbeinu, who's also a pretty courageous man. Hashem told him to go before Paro, before the king of Egypt. And the king of Egypt can obviously kill you in the blink of an eye. And he said, stand before him, and don't tell him that you should let my people go. And like, he had no army. He was 80 years old. He's an old man. The Midrash says that like when he came before Paro, so like Paro didn't know how he got in, because like he had like hundreds of guards standing outside, so like, how did these old men get here, he's saying, let my people go, like God, and it was like that takes so much guts. It was so like Stalin, like he had a person that stood before Stalin. Stalin had this like, Stalin was worse than Hitler. People don't know how many millions of people Stalin killed. He has this trap door in like wherever he would receive people. So he had this trap door that if he didn't like what you were saying, so you press the button and the trap door would fall and you would be eaten by the crocodiles. You would be dead. And so like to stand before Paro was not a simple thing. So Hashem told Moshe, you're going to stand before Paro. You're going to tell him who's boss. And like Moshe said, okay. There's a Canaan. Hashem told this Canaan to follow him, and they were afraid. They're afraid. It's like, he's going to kill us. And I said, one by one. There's 70 Canaan that started with him, and when he got before Paro, suddenly it was just him and Aaron. Everybody else was afraid. So it says that Hashem like didn't forget this, and so when it came time to become close to Hashem with Har Sinai, so first this Canaan came with Moshe. Then he said, okay, no, it's Canaan. No, you have to stop now. Now only Moshe. If they would have had the guts like Moshe to go up to Paro, then Hashem would have said, okay, now you can come up too. You can also be with me to be in this miraculous state of living in heaven for 40 days and 40 nights. That they lost out because they were afraid, because they didn't have courage. Nachshon ben Adada when Kriyas Yamsuf. So Hashem says, go forward. And so everybody was like, what are we going to do? So Nachshon said, Hashem said to go. I'm going to go. If Hashem said to go, I'm not going to lose out. Hashem is not going to let me die because I listened to him. That's not, you know what's the right thing to do, so you do it. Esther Amalka. So Mordechai tells her that, the time has come, you need to stand before the king, you need to tell him, you need to try to ask him, you have to beg him that he's going to save our nation. And she says, but like, if you don't just show up before the king, so then like the chances are he's going to kill you. Only if he puts out the Shavet Hazav V'Chayav, if he puts out his gold scepter, then he saves you from death. If he doesn't put out his scepter, then you're dead. You're dead. And so Mordechai tells her, okay, like if you don't have the courage, so then don't do it. But like I'm telling you, like this is your moment. Like if you're not going to stand up for your calling, then it's going to be the end of you. Like this is your moment. You can take it or leave it, but like you should take it. And she had the courage. She said, yes, I'm going to be strong. She stood before Achashverosh, and she knew that her life was on the line, and she didn't allow her fear of death to stop her from doing the right thing. And the truth is that this is a very basic value in Judaism, that to do the right thing, even at the fear of death. So we have a mitzvah. We have a mitzvah that this is mamash the name of the game. It's called Kiddush Hashem. Okay, and the pasuk says, that I shall be sanctified before the Jewish people in the midst of the congregation of Israel. And Chazal learned that this mitzvah of Nidachshti, so this is a mitzvah of Kiddush, this is a mitzvah of Mesiras Nefesh. It's a mitzvah that if a guy puts a gun to your head and says, convert to Islam, convert to Christianity, or else, so you say, shoot, I'm ready. I'm not gonna compromise my values. It says that the Beis Yosef, the Rebbe Yosef Karo, the Shulchan Aruch, he writes in Magid Mesharim that sometimes like when he's daydreaming, so he has a daydream of that one of these Turks would go next to him and say convert, Karo, convert, and he says, and I would stick out my neck and say, here, shoot, take out your sword, do it. I'm ready. Chop off my head, I'm not converted. And this was his, like, he was proud. Yeah, I'm not afraid to die. And this is we spoke about we spoke about the class about Rebbe Nachman about the fear of death. That Rebbe Yosef Karo was ready to give up his life for his Judaism, and even if it means dying. Even if it means dying, that like I'm not, and this is we are commanded, do not be afraid of death. If you're like, there's machlekes rishonim, but machlekes rishonim, what if a person is not b'chas scaredy cat? What if a person that I say that the guy says either worship a Zara or I'll kill you, and he says I'm afraid of cat. What can I do? Hashem made me afraid of cat, so hopefully he'll understand. And so he converts. So he converts Nebuch. So there's machlekes rishonim. There's some that say that it's that he's called Einus. He's called Einus. Like he did the wrong thing. He was mevatel a mitzvah. But some rishonim say that he's called Einus. He's called that. He's not called that he's an idol worshiper. Other rishonim say that no, it's called mezid. That's called mezid. He's chayiv misa. That the Torah tells you have to overcome your fears. If you don't overcome your fears, then you're a loser. Then you're an idol worshiper. Then you're mamish. You're it's not okay. It's not just a mitzvah. This is like you're not. That's not the program. The program is that being a Jew means overcoming your fears. So there's a tradition it's brought down from Maharam Rothenberg that at the moment that a person accepts upon himself that they're going to give up their life for Hashem, that they're going to die al Kadosh Hashem, so there's a tradition that from that moment he doesn't feel any pain. So like all the Yidden that Nebuch were burned at the stake, or they were burned, they're tortured in the Inquisition, that at the moment that you say that, okay, Hashem, I'm giving up my life to you. I'm standing up for my values. So there's a tradition that from that moment that you don't feel any pain. And I believe it. I really believe it. That you become like a person that is full of courage. A person that fills their soul with this conviction that I'm doing the right thing and nothing's going to stop me. It's like I really believe that you're going to just be in this bliss of being together with Hashem. So this is certainly from Tanakh. We see that there's absolutely a source for this. There's a precedent for this. This is what our heroes always did. They're always brave people. They're always courageous people. And I want to speak about somebody that lived not long ago. He was a very, very special yid. He was a ger chassid. His name was Matis Galman. So he was killed in the Holocaust. So this is a story from during those years, and his story is recorded in a book by what's his name? By Moshe Garber. I don't remember his name. And the book is called Those That Never Yielded. Those who never yielded. Okay, so it's the truth is that for many years this was a very, very hard to find book, but I saw just recently that they reprinted it, and you get it in regular bookstores. What's it called? Pomeranz. They sell it there's no printing, and you can get this book, Those Who Never Yielded, and it's the story of Matis Galman and his students. So his story was that first of all he was about tshuva, that he was a very assimilated family, and he was a super genius, and he was going to a non-Jewish university, and at some point, so as the Nazism started to gain power, so somebody called him a dirty Jew. And he was so shocked by this, that he was called a dirty Jew, and so he was just spacing out and dreaming and walking around. He suddenly found himself in the Jewish part of the town, and he saw a bunch of people started around because there was the Rebbe that had come to the shtetl, and it was the Biala Rebbe. And so he said, "Who's that?" And he said, "It's the Biala Rebbe." I said, "I need to speak to him." And so he comes in, and he says, and he knocks on the door. He says, "Rabbi, I need your help. Somebody called me a dirty Jew. Tell me, are Jews actually dirty?" and he says, Nebuch, that if you would understand what it means to be dirty, you would understand that it's not possible for a Jew to be dirty. Because we say every morning that Elokai neshama shnesata b'toharehi. We daven every morning that Hashem, that the soul that you gave me is pure. So we have a pure soul. Every yid has a pure soul. So it's not possible for a Jew to be dirty. And so she said, but Rebbe, but I don't know how to daven. So I don't know that. So he said, oh Nebuch, that it's so sad that you're suffering. You don't even know why you're suffering. I bless you that you'll find the right path. So anyway, so he found this friend of his that was going to he was Jewish, and he was had this Jewish club, this what do they call it in universities? Student union. So this is in the 30s, right? But so he says, can I come with you? Tell me, did they teach you how to daven there? And so the boy laughed. He's like, no, we know how to daven. We're learning Gemara, but we'll teach you how to daven. Come. So he teaches them how to daven, and then at some point he decides I need to learn in yeshiva. I need to learn in yeshiva. And so his father was like the most anti-religious person. He would never let him to learn in yeshiva. So what did he do? He asked his father, that there's an art show. There's an art show going on in I don't know where it was, in Krakow. Would it be okay for he was from Vienna, and so he said, would it be okay to celebrate my midterms? Would it be okay to go on a vacation to the art show? And he said, oh yeah, I'm so proud of you, and you did so well on your midterms. Yeah, you could. And so he buys this train ticket to go to Krakow, and he runs to the Bial Rebbe. And he says, Rebbe, I want to go to yeshiva. You remember me? And he says, I'm running away from home. I want to go to yeshiva. I'm running away from university. So the Bial Rebbe, so he writes him a letter to send him to what's his name? To Rav Shapiro from the Chachmei Lublin. And he writes him that that was the biggest yeshiva at the time, and he says, I want you to accept the student. He's he's really looking for Hashem, and so he runs away to yeshiva and he starts learning. By that time he had already learned how to daven, and he wants to learn yeshiva, and he wants to learn Gemara, and so his father he's like. He calls the police. My son ran away from home, and so the police are looking over the entire Europe for this kid, this runaway, and so he finds that he realizes that they're looking for him, and so he asks the Rosh Yeshiva what to do. So he says, I think the best place for you to go is to go to Ger. So he sends it to the Imri Emes. He writes him a letter, and so he becomes a Ger Chassid, and at some point they find him out in Ger, and he tells them tell them I'm not here, tell them I'm not here, and eventually they catch him, and on his way back, so he says sorry, I need the bathroom, and he runs away, and so his father. Anyway, so this is bravery. This is this absolute bravery that Matt is Gelman, that to run away from home, to run away from your parents, and so because you know that Hashem wants you to be a real yid, and your parents want you to be a secular yid, and so that's guts to stand up for what you need, for what you mean, even though he doesn't It's hard to go against your parents. It's hard to go against everything you know, and to go into the unknown. He had a good career ahead of him, and he gave that up. And Namish gave everything which was stability. He gave that up because he knew that the right thing is to follow Hashem, and that's the beginning of the story is absolutely amazing. Now then, so he became a chassid of the Imri Emes, and he was a very, very amazing ger chassid. And then the Nazis came to power, and that was really the time that he shined the most. Okay, so he created this kehila, this community, this underground community that they called themselves Matisavtzim, because his name was Matisyahu. So they were Matisyahu was men, Matisyahu was people. Matisavtzim, that's what they called themselves. And so their motto was that Saivi, we're going to die. Like, anyway, we're going to die. So why should we give him the time of day? Why should the Nazis are telling us that we should cut off our payas? The Nazis are telling us that we should stop dressing Hasidish. Like, why should I give you? Why should I give you any compromises? Why should I move 1 inch? Like, if anyway you're going to kill me, so I'm just going to do my thing. And if you're going to kill me, you're going to kill me. So he had these underground. They were hiding. There's hundreds and hundreds of people in different places, and they had this whole system of they call the leaders of each group. They call them the general, and every group was completely in reverence to their leader, and they were learning 12 hours a day underground and davening like real Hasidim, and they stole food from different things. And the Nazis said you have to show up for forced labor. They're not showing up for forced labor. The Nazis say that you have to shave. You have to put. And there's a picture in 1942 that of these Nazis with these Hasidim with long payas and Hasidish levush, and that makes no sense because already 4 years already there was no such thing as a chassid that looks like a chassid, and that was these matazavtim. That they were I'm not going to budge 1 inch. These are my values, and if you want to kill me, so kill me. But I'm not gonna play your game. I'm standing true to my values. Okay. There's a story recorded there that one night that they were having some kind of verbringen. They were having some kind of verbringen. I don't know what day it was exactly. Maybe it was Rosh Chodesh. And so Matziyahu, so he said I want to bench with al kais. I want to bench with I don't want to bench a regular bench. I want to bench with a cup of something respectful. Somebody get me a cup of beer. So somebody get me a beer. I want to bench with a cup of beer. Just there's a hitter to bench with a cup of wine. So that if you don't have wine, so you can bench with a cup of beer. It's also a hitter in the benching. And so one of the boys he was new. He was new into this in this club in this hideout, and he stands up and he says I'll go. And it was risking his life to go to the other side of town where to buy beer, and they would see that he's Hasidish, and there was a very possible chance that an SS officer would see him and they would just shot him so this is a crazy story. That so Matis looked at him and he said, "Oh really? You're the one that's not afraid? Yeah, everyone else is afraid, and you're not afraid? I want you to stand up right now and admit in front of everybody that you're just as afraid as they are." And so there's something very, very deep about this because there's things which are false braveries, false courage. If a person is going to do something for his ego, that's not courage. Courage is to stand up for Hashem. Courage is to stand up for my values, to stand up for the right thing. To do something reckless because I want to prove myself to somebody. That's not that's not courage. That's not Haviyaz Kanemer. That's called being such a Baal Gaiva that you're willing to risk your life for your Gaiva. That's Mesiras Nefesh for your ego. There's nothing admirable about that. There's nothing nice about that. And so Matas was saying, you're pretending to be courageous. You're not. What you're doing is not courageous. You're trying to prove yourself because you're new in this club, and I see what you're doing. I want you to. Now he told her, I want you to stand up and tell everybody that you're just as afraid as them. And then what did he do? And he said, I'm going to show you what real courage is. I'm going to go. And he went, and 45 minutes later, he was back with his bottle of beer, and then he went. And that's what it means. I'm going to do what's the right thing to do, and I don't understand exactly why he thought that it was necessary to risk his life for a cup of beer, but it's part of because there's a different reality. The reality that we're dying, and they were all killed. That was the end of the story. There was the answer, and it's so beautiful that like he went with a bang. Like I'm not gonna like. I guess like that like shows that even how strong it is that even the hiddur of benching on a case, that like even that like I'm not gonna let the Nazis cause me to budge even on that. Like it's mamish incredible. Now the last story I want to share about the Matasavtzim is the story that at some point they caught a group of them, and they told them they instructed them to dig a grave, and they said that after you dig the grave, then we're going to shoot you into your grave, and so the leader of the group, so he told them, okay, we're gonna die now, but we're not gonna die like losers. We're gonna right now. This is our last Torah, and let's sing and dance like it's Simchas Torah. And they took hands, they held hands, and they started around in the circle. They started singing some happy Gera Nigan, and that's like the Nazis were scared. Like they were so that's so much guts, so much like I don't care. I'm doing my thing, and you can shove it. Like this is when they saw such courage. So they had to like force themselves to pull the trigger. And so this is what like I see like as a modern day example of such courage, of such omets, such bravery, that this is mamish v'lo yisbayish min hamligim, to have no fear at all in the best way. So Matas Gaman is to me a hero of courage, and a hero of a role model of what it means to really have to not allow our fears to hold us back from the right thing. Another more modern day example is the Alter of Novardok. I think I shared with you a couple of ideas from him when we spoke about Bitachon, that the Alter of Novardok, so he has a quote that it's one of my favorite lines. He said that I never asked myself if I'm able to do a particular thing. I only asked myself if the thing needed to be done. Meaning that if there's something that needs to be done, so I'm going to do it. And these thoughts of like, well, but what if? Like, do you really have the ability to do it? Is it realistic? That I never allowed those questions to even start with me. It needs to be done. I'm doing it. Okay, and that's courage. That's not to not allow these overthinking to get to me, to not allow these fears of like maybe something's gonna, and he didn't just say it, he actually did it. His Alter Novardok, he created a chain of 50 yeshivas all over Europe. This is pre-war. That one of the Stipler was one of the Novardok yeshivas in I don't remember where, maybe in the Novardok itself. He would open up yeshivas. What he would do is that he would go to a town, and he would get together some students, and then he would get together somebody that looked like a lambda, and said, "Okay, you're going to be the Rosh Yeshiva, you're going to be the fundraiser, you're going to be in charge of the logistics," and yeah. Then after 2 weeks that yeshiva was okay, he moved on to the next city, and he would get together students, he would get together Rosh Yeshiva, get together the fundraiser, and like okay, and then he made 50 yeshivas like this. So he's constantly running from yeshiva to yeshiva to make sure that everything's running the way it needs to. And so like it's impossible to like he didn't have enough, like he didn't have the right passports. He didn't have so once he was like sneaking onto a train, and to get from yeshiva to yeshiva, and he was with one of his students, and so they were hiding on top of the train, and like there was like some like a trap door like on top, like to enter from the top, and so his student checks if it's safe to sneak in, and he looks under, and he comes up and it looks like he saw a ghost. And so he says, like, what's going on? He says, it's full of army people. It's full of like our worst enemies. And so and so the Alter Nevadik said, like, here, just follow me. And so he jumps down. He jumps down, and then like the student jumps after him, and like he looks around, like it's full, and everybody looks like everybody stops. Everything stops. There's just it's like a Jew, like walking. Like everybody knows, like Jews are supposed to be dead, and so he looks, and like he scans the room. He looks at the most chashuv looking officer, and so he walks the one with the most badges, and he walks over to him, and he says, "Hey buddy, got a light?" And like, needless to say that in those times it was okay to smoke in public spaces. So like the guy, he was so shocked by this guy's audacity. They said, yeah, I've got it here, take it. Thanks, have a good one. He walks over, the guy, and this Russian officer is like, he's so like he doesn't know what hit him, like that, and like that when you have courage, so then your enemies will just walk. And this is what it means. You're doing the right thing. Nothing is going to stop me. And that's mamish what he stood for. So where is this going to fit into our lives? Okay, so when do we need courage? So first of all, like we said, just like to be obnoxiously Jewish, this is something that like people who are living around non-Jews, people who are in anywhere outside of Israel. So like this is an everyday occurrence, and like to remind ourselves that yes, I am proud to be a Jew. That I'm lucky to be a Jew, and all you goyim, you should be jealous. Like this is I'm a prince, I'm a princess, and I'm so proud to be the chosen nation. I'm so proud to be serving Hashem. I don't need to be embarrassed for my Judaism. And this is a very basic thing. Like there's a certain like natural tendency to be ashamed, to be like, I want to be like everybody else, and like there's a certain courage of saying, yes, I'm proud. There's a certain, sometimes it's not necessarily non-Jews. Sometimes it's just like religious, like the Jewish friends. I remember when I was a kid, we came from my brother's bar mitzvah. We came to Israel, and we were staying in Tveria for a day or two. And I remember I was walking to Shachris, and this secular boy asked me if he could put on my tefillin. And I said sure. And I was so excited, like helping somebody put on tefillin. I was 15 years old, and I saw that like his friends were making fun of him. His friends were secular, and they were like you're such a, what are you doing with putting on tefillin? You believe in that stuff, and he, like, as he was putting on his tefillin, he was like the guy that was giggling at him, like kicked him, he did like a quick back kick, and I was like, that's like, yeah, like he's like, nobody's going to make fun of me. I'm doing the right thing, and if you don't like it, deal with it. Like this is, I don't have to make myself good with you. That like you if you don't like me, so drop me. Like I don't like, so to overcome the fear of losing friends, overcome the fear of losing popularity. I think I told you a couple of classes ago that there's like sometimes like there's a certain courage to speak up when there's a certain injustice. And I told you about the times I was in this program, and the teacher was being rude to one of the students, and I spoke up, and I said Harav, you can't speak to him like this. Like that's you're not. You have to be respectful to your students, and he lost, and he almost got fired, I think, from losing it so much. But it took a certain amount of courage. Like everybody else was probably thinking it, that this is not okay. But to call somebody out it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable because people don't like confrontations. Like people we naturally just everything should be sweet and soft and it's just okay. So he's not doing the right thing. It's okay. And to be confrontational is not easy, and it requires courage to speak up. To speak up when you're supposed to speak up. This is relevant in workplaces. Sometimes if you're being expected to do something which is dishonest, if you're being expected to do something which is against your values, and to leave the job if it requires going against your values in any way, I find that I think this is it's a huge thing. Like just standing up for your values in friend circles, to be shomer negia. To be shomer negia, I see it's so hard in places which are not in friend circles which are not shomer negia, that like a person wants to be looked at as normal. And they know that it's a value to be shomer negia, and the people around them don't. And so we have such a desire to be looked at as normal and to be looked at as just like everybody else, that to be strong and it's like, oh, sorry, I don't touch, and to be proud of it, and that requires courage. And in general, to have the courage not to water down Judaism, not to if somebody asks you what are you doing, to say don't say nothing, don't say it's a Jewish thing, this is oh, I don't do that because it's not kosher, because I keep kosher. We don't need to be embarrassed to say that we keep kosher. We don't have to be embarrassed to say that we're leaving early because it's Shabbos. This is we don't have to play it down. We don't have to water it down. We don't have to make it push it out the rug. We to be mamish proud. So this is this is all things that require courage. Now, the last thing I want to say is so what do we do? So what do you actually do if you're a scaredy cat? So how can we work on this? So first of all, I think that just the knowledge that Hashem wants you to be courageous. So the knowledge that this is a Jewish value, and part of being a good Jew is to be a courageous Jew. Haviaz Kanamer is absolutely it's part of our tradition, it's part of Torah, it's part of what it means to be a religious Jew. So I certainly think that is a lot. A person should never make peace with the fact that I'm not just a strong person, so I don't talk up. No, sorry, get with the program. We're Jews. Jews are called upon to have courage. Okay, that's part of, just like you're not allowed to get angry, you're not allowed to say that sorry, I'm just an angry person, that's what I do. So you're not allowed to be a wimp. It's part of being a good Jew is that you're not allowed to be a wimp. So that's first of all. There is something that I saw, that there's a woman named Mel Robbins, that she wrote a book called The 5-Second Rule. And the 5-second rule says that when you have a certain inspiration, when you know that there's something that needs to be done, so she's talking about even simple things just getting out of bed, but is anything that requires a certain push to do it, because there's a certain pushback, because there's a certain resistance. So that what she calls it the 5-second rule is that just do it now. She says to count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and then just do it. She says that after 5 seconds, so then all of your fears and all of your overthinking, it's going to kill the inspiration. So you have 5 seconds to act, and after 5 seconds, the inspiration will be dead. Okay, so actually a lot of us have courage, and just because we don't act on our courage quick enough, so the courage fizzles out. So a technique of being more courageous is actually simply to know that I need to work on my courage. I need to act quickly before it dies out. So now, of course, it doesn't mean that whenever you have any thought to do anything, you should do it in the first 5 seconds, because sometimes it takes more than 5 seconds to decide if something is the right thing to do. We're not saying that when you're not sure if you should propose to your girlfriend, so you should make sure that you do it within 5 seconds. That maybe you should speak to your rabbi first. And but we're talking about when you know something is the right thing to do. When it's clear to you, when the doubt is just, should I really do it? So that to know that it's now or never. To know that if there's something that I need to do, so then if I don't do it now, it's not going to happen. And so this is what I think could help us to tell ourselves that that I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to stand up for my values. I'm not going to compromise. I'm going to be proud of everything that I believe in. And I bless us all that we should be able to follow in the footsteps of all of our heroes, of Avram Avinu and the Maccabim and Esther and Malka, and to be strong and to be courageous and to not allow our fears to hold us back from being the true, amazing selves, us that we are destined to be and we're capable of being. B'ezrat Hashem.